the way this starts out, in a review, is the concept of the very beginning of the creation of tefillin, which has to do with the Kesser, the Nook coming back into Atzilus and joining up with the Rishimo that was left in the heart and going on to the left arm. And then it goes through a gestation period. And this is actually a picture, I think we might describe it as the creation of the tefillin. That is, the tefillin of Zeranpin, I guess of Zeranpin, or I'm not sure, of at any rate in Itzilus. This is referring to the hand tefillin, so I guess it's the creation of the nukva. Some aspect of that which has to do with the tefillin on the head of the nukva, and he describes it in Iver Yanika and Iver Beis, or Mochin. It's called Mochin sometimes. And then he goes through the different possibilities how it's generated, according to Rabbeinu Tam, that it's Ekya, and then it's Yakaku. I don't know how to pronounce it exactly. And then you have the Milui of Adni, and according to Rashi, it's a Havaya, not a Yud K K Vav, but a Yud K Vav K. And then he shows you this concept of Yabuk. I think there was a phrase in here that would try to help me understand why we use Yabuk, but this is, I guess, from our background, that we know that there are mochin in the lower of continence that meet up with the mochin of godless, and they produce this breakthrough, I guess, of the godless through this concept of Yabuk. It is several different ways of this Yabuk. So here we have the light or the energy that's produced from the Iver Unica. Iver Unica and Mochin that's up above. Now go through this area of Yabuk. He says in the middle, then he comes to the Hegavuros, and I guess that through what it actually is it should break down the Tipa, and it's going to break into Hegavuros. Excuse me. And those Hegavuros are also Mansapach. And then he shows he shows it going into Zer Anpin. And then, of course, it comes from Zer Anpin. It's on the arm of Zer Anpin. And then in the bottom, I think he means that it winds up being tefillin. It grows up into tefillin according to this name, which I don't know what to do with it, of Pasat Mem, is the same gematria as tefillin, which is 580. Then there's another way to look at it. You could look at it as the gematria of 570, which is these akis, these various different akis, which are the mochin themselves, I guess, going into the tefillin. Then he comes over here to the next page. In the next page, he goes to Ritzua. Now, we didn't, unless I missed it, we didn't really learn anything about Ritzua. So therefore, I'll read on the right, so that he gives us, or we could look at both. He says, Yekavan Lakasha Shechinta im Bailo. So this is I'm assuming he means, well, I'm not assuming, he means the strap of the tefillin as you're wrapping it around your arm. Perhaps this is the reason, I don't know why we cover it up. Yekavan Lakasha Shechinta im Bailo, to tie them two together. And to make a oneness with her, and to tie herself by using the ritzua, shehusod or makif, and so you see how it is that we wrap the ritzua, and we go to an or makif, shemish misbar, and he says that you want this interesting idea, because we've seen the concept of the two kales in Milui before, but here he says shehusod or makif. So therefore, he's saying that the shin ayin naharim misbar beis kale malayim. So the shin ayin is this. So first you have the ritzua, and what does he say? Have the yakasher shchinta im baila. So the ritzua has the same gematria as this too. Ritzua is a gematria 371. This is 370. So he says, Osa Ritzua Shahu Sod or Makif. It's an or Makif now that is going around, which is more a Makif, which is composed. This or Makif is composed of the two kales in a milui, which we see on the left. So he says, and to tie them, then the next blurb right before the two kales, the next blurb says, V'lakashra im baila, and to tie her together with her husband. In other words, there's a yichud taking place here, using this or makif, which is the same gematria of the two kales, which refers to the ritzua. Then he says, the next one is really like a formation I hadn't really noticed before or seen. He says, Lahamshech Rucha Dechai. Where's the Rucha Dechai come from? And he started out with the, so in it, I guess it's enlivening the tefillin, which is the keser of the nook. Lahamshech Rucha Dechai Menekiv Small Dechoitim Erik Anpen. He says, and what is it? He says, it's the Vav Daled, the Milu Yud Vav Daled. Okay, I'm not sure exactly how I get that out of this picture on the left. The picture on the left, yeah, so he says, Vav Daled, the Milu Yud, the Milu of Yud is Yud Vav Daled K Yud Vav Aleph Vav K Yud. So which Yud is he talking about? I don't know. But he says it's the Vav Daled part of that Milui of the Yud, the Sag. Derek small the Erik Anpen. It comes out from the left side of Erik Anpen. The Derek small is where you find Gevura the Zer Anpen. And from that Gevura the Zer Anpen, it goes into the Nuk HaOmed Sham, who's standing there, who's in that position. So one more time, well, let's just look at what's on the other side. The other side seems like it has the name Yehi in it somehow, which is a topic that we're dealing with in the Sifra. And then it has the Vav Aleph Vav. Okay, I'm not sure how that would work. And then it has another K, there's the Vav Daled there, and another K with the, it has the word He, Yehi, Vav. That it's okay, it's he, I don't know what to do with it. Anyway, he says that's what it is. One more time on it, it's Hamshik Rucha Dechaim Benekiv Small Dechoitim Erik Anpen. So this is why you're wrapping the tefillin around your arm. This is the kavanah that you should have, that you're making a yichud here. But as a result of Lahamshik Rucha Dechaim Benekiv Small Dechoitim Erik Anpen. And he says it is the Vav Daled, the Milu Yud Vav Daled that you find in Sag. And this goes down the left line, and it says V'derech the Erik Anpen, and then it's on the left line also winds up in Gevura the Zer Anpen, the Keser the Nuk HaOmdim Sham. Okay, now this is the way we write Zer Anpen. I don't know. I'm about to hit something here. I'm not sure that I know what it is. Let's see. Lahafrid Kali. So now we're in a position that's in inner space, in spiritual space, called the Chitzonius of the Nai de Bria. So Bria, of course, corresponds to Ima. So this is like, maybe he means the very last transfer point, because it's on the outside of the outside, and the outside of Nai, which is also the outside of Olam Bria. So I'm not sure, but so I'm just speculating on what that could possibly be. So he says, what are you trying to do here now? Now that you brought this ritzua, you need to have this action too. Lahafre de kalam bechitzonis de chitzonis anai de beria. So in this place, which is the most outer place, he says, which is the most exposed to the kali, in the nai bria. Lahamshek lachem mochim de olomos. Now, this particular phrase, I'm not sure what he means, but mochim from im neranchi de nefesh de neshama. So he says in Antri de nefesh de neshama, we're dealing with the neshama. Once again, it's coming from Bina. but it's the lower part of Brina, and it's the whole panoply of light that come from there. It's the Narantchi of the Nefesh of the Neshama. So what does he say? Lahafred, he says, Lahamshech. So these are the Mochin, and this is where the Mochin are coming from. And the Mochim here are looking like Nai. This is the Mochin of Nai, for Nai. So he that Hitzoni Nai, the Bria, he said Lahafred. So this, we're bringing these lights down, these Oros, the Makif and the Panimi, and we're bringing them down for the Nai of these Oros. And that's going to separate the Kali from there. So I guess, my question would be, okay, we haven't read the whole thing, but my question is okay, I'll ask the question later. So now, this here he writes, I think he means Zer Anpin, the Chitzonis, the Yetzira. What is this phrase, Zion Ayin? I don't know, because up above he wrote it, Zer Anpin is written with an Aleph. So I don't know what this phrase means. I wrote it into my dictionary, and it comes out Zer Anpin. So okay, that's another possibility. So let's see how it goes here. So what was the first part? It was the Kitzonis, the Denai, the Bria. Now we're going to Zion Elyonis, the Kitzonis, the Yetzira. So we're now coming downwards. So we came from the top, which in this case is the Nai of Bria, the Kitzoni, the Nai of the Bria. Now we're going to the Elyonis, but now we're not in Bria anymore. We're going into Yetzira. So now we're going to separate the Kali here. So Lahafred as a Kali, Mekitzonis, the Yitzonius, the Zion Elyonis, the Yetzira now. Now we're in Yetzira. The Lachamshech Bechem Mochin, the Olomos, and to stream down to them. The Mochin, again, we have the word Olomos, or maybe from hidden places. I'm not sure what he means here. I guess maybe he means from every place, from everything that's up above it. Im Narantchi, the Ruach. So we're dealing with the lights of Ruach. Ruach goes with Yetzira. And here they are. This matches up. These Oros are Kachav Chagat. And so therefore they're Manuka that way, and they're affecting these Oros, which are coming now really out of Bria, of the Kitzonis of Bria, and coming into the top 7 of Yetzira. So here they are. That's the whole process. Then he says, now that you've gone to here, you've got to the top of Yetzira. Then he says, Zion Elyonet, the Panemius, the Kitzonius, the Tzia. Now I think that we've seen before that the Rashash might have left out a step. He didn't put in the step that took it to the, let me see if I've got my words right, the Nai of Yetzira. I don't think so. Here he has, just looking up above again, he says, Lahafrid es akalim, the Kitzonius, Zion, the Yetzira, in order to get them out of the top of Yetzira. The Lahamshechem Mochin, the Golomos, im the Rantchi, the Ruach. And so this is the lights of Ruach, which affects Yetzira. But he skips this stage where it goes to the Nai after that, like we had up above when we started, because we started in Bria. And then as happens. Then you have the Zion El Yos, so it skips, like I said, I believe, the Nai of Yetzira. It's implicit, and then it goes down to the Zion El Yonis, the Panemius, the Chinsonis, the Osia. La Hafrid al Klipos, me Panemius, Zer Anpin, the Osia, but La Hamshek Bechem Mochin, the Dushamos, in the Rantchi, the Nefesh. The Nefesh goes along with Yesia, but here's a question I have is La Hafrid al Klipos, me Panemios, the Chinsonius. So I don't have an explanation of why we went to the Panemius or the Kitsonius before we were dealing with the Kitsonius or the Kitsonius. And so I guess I have an answer, whether it's the right answer or not, I don't know. is because this is really the end of the line right here. So basically, before we were always talking about the transfer part, which is the kitzonis of the kitzonis. This is a way of looking at it because we're looking at a flow chart. So it goes from the outside to the inside of the next, but ultimately it winds up on the outside of the outside if it's going to the parts that's below it. So therefore, this is the parts that's down below. An ultimate place that we want to bring it into is the panemius of the kitzonis. Now we had that rule that only the panemius actually can move up. The kitsonius can't move up. So ultimately we get it to the panemius, and there you are at the bottom, and that's what I got for that. So I haven't really looked at this yet, so we could just to finish out this beginning part, let's start reading the top where it says on the next page on Sadi Bet, and this is something that we have seen before. So, well, even before that, let me go back and review this again. Just so let's say we're going to practice this. We're going to have the kavanah that we're going to take the ritzua, which is the same. The ritzua actually is a makif that is going to bind the zocher and nuk together. I think that's what he said. He said, "Yekamen the kasher shchinta im baila." So how do you do that? You do with this makif, which is the two kales, and then they combine, and it causes that yichud.